Hey guys, this is Sam, and it's been a little bit since I made my last Q&A video, and I really enjoy these just because I feel like I get to actually connect with my audience and talk to all of you rather than just showing you my hands at a 90-degree angle with iOS 11. Either way, I'm excited to do this, and let's go ahead and take a look at the questions. Alright, so the first question is from George, and he says, how come you don't do jailbreak tweak videos anymore? This is a question that I've wanted to answer for a long time that I've never really addressed before, but I want to talk to you guys about why I stopped jailbreaking. Like, that was the thing that built my channel, and I just stopped one day. So to tell this story, I have to go back quite a bit. So grab a snack and get comfortable, because back in 2013, I didn't have a YouTube channel until March. But I met this kid in high school. His name's Jake. He still has a YouTube channel. I do a podcast with him. One of my closest friends to this day. But I met him in high school. And the way we met, funny story, is I was like, I like Apple products, because we had to like draw a picture about what we liked. And then he was like, I want to design iPhones when I'm older. And I was literally like, this kid is legit going to be my best friend. And it turned out that we are still really close friends. So it's funny how that worked out. But he showed me his iPhone, and I was like, whoa, like, what's going on here? Like, that's not iOS, that's an Android. And he's like, no, like, I'm just jailbroken, changed my icons, and I tweaked some things. I added some modifications to my device, which is what jailbreaking is that Apple wouldn't really allow normally. And I was like, dude, like, isn't that illegal? That's probably a little bit sketchy. Probably shouldn't be doing that. And he was like, no, like it's technically like on the board. It's in that gray area of, isn't everything in the gray area when you think about it? But like, this was in the gray area of like, is it illegal? Is it not illegal? And then he finally convinced me, like, just try it. And I was like, okay, fine. Tried it and fell in love with it. This was back with iOS 6. I don't think it was 6.1 yet, just iOS 6 on my iPhone 5, and I fell in love with it. I wanted to install new tweaks every day. I wanted to install new themes, and I didn't even care about my voided warranty because I was just like, this is incredible. So because I got really into it and I was just starting to get into YouTube with a video game a few months before, maybe 5 or 6 months earlier, I started watching these YouTubers like Jeff Benjamin when he was still with iDownloadBlog. He's now with 9to5Mac. I was watching, I think iTweaks made videos. Cody from iTweaks, he's still one of my favorite YouTubers to this day. And then also Remy from iDevice Movies. He was like my favorite jailbreak YouTuber out there. And then Everything Apple Pro, of course, who exploded recently. He was also one of my favorites back then when he did a lot of jailbreaking stuff. So I was watching all these guys and I'm like, wait, I made videos in the past. Like, what's stopping me from starting a YouTube channel and making these videos on my own? So I started my YouTube channel March 31st of 2013. That is a long time ago. And I made my first video on a jailbreak tweak. Ironically, it's the same feature now included in iOS 11 where you can record your screen on the device without having to use a computer as an external recorder. That's something that I made a video back on in 2013. Like, that's how cool jailbreaking still is, that you can do this stuff 4 years before Apple even builds it into iOS. So I made a video on that. And ever since then, I didn't stop. Like, I'm still here, and we're at 50K subs somehow, and you guys keep watching. So that's the really long backstory to how I got into jailbreaking. And to this day, I still love it, and I still respect it. But we got to 2015. We were sometime around the iOS 9, 9.3 timeframe. New jailbreak came out, and I jailbroke my iPhone 6? I think it would have been my iPhone 6, maybe my iPhone 6S. And I just started having issues, and it went into a reboot loop, which wasn't a big deal. Like, I lost some data, but my phone was fine. Like, I could plug into iTunes, I'd be good to go. But then I did it again to my iPad, and then my iPad got stuck in a reboot loop. And I had these issues before, but I was still like, it's totally worth it. Like, if I lose anything, it'll be okay. But I think I lost something relatively important, and it just left a really bad taste in my mouth. And I was just like, I'm so tired about like jumping through these hoops, running all these kind of sketchy programs that I don't even trust myself just to free my iPhone. And I stopped. So that's a really long reason as to why I stopped jailbreaking. I was really quiet about this forever. Like, I don't even remember saying anything on Twitter. Like I said, I stopped making videos out of the blue and just switched to stock iOS. It's a decision that I'm still happy with, but there are definitely days that I miss jailbreaking. And if anybody was wondering why I stopped, there you go. Logan asks, if you could have one major feature, oh my gosh, there's so much. If you could have one major feature for the iPhone and iOS 11 that has not been present ever, what would it be? I would love the ability to change the way the stock icons looked. Going back to that jailbreaking story, one of my favorite parts about it was you had the ability to customize the way your icons looked. So instead of it just looking like iOS, you can make it look like Android or like any other design that somebody had created. And that's something I really miss about it, and oh my god, if that came to iOS, I would be so hyped. Next up, Nick asks, have any new cameras or lenses in your sights for the near future? And the answer is yes. I'm looking to buy a new Sony camera later in 2017. I'm just not sure if I want to go with the Sony A9, the Sony A7R III or A7S III. Those haven't been announced yet, they're just kind of rumored, and I'm assuming that'll be the name, but I definitely want to go the Sony route. So my camera situation right now, the camera you're watching this video from, right now is a Sony a6300. And this camera is really good at autofocus, but it has really bad battery life and it overheats within 10 minutes or 15 minutes of continuous 4K recording, which is super annoying. It overheated during this video, but it has really good autofocus. So if I move around or shift up or back, it's got 425 autofocus points to track me. The other camera that I like better than the Sony is the Lumix GH4. It was my first 4K camera, and I just love this thing to death. So I'm at a crossroads right now, and I've been looking at cameras, and I'm thinking the Sony A9 because it's got great battery life, dual SD card slots, amazing autofocus, takes beautiful videos, 4K video, like takes beautiful photos, 4K video. It's the whole package. The problem is that it's $5,000, which is really expensive, and I think would be the most expensive purchase that I've ever made. The official iupdateos cameraman Vince asks, what's one rumored feature of the iPhone 8 that you hope doesn't come true? I would have to go with the $1,000 price tag. That is a lot of money for a phone. I couldn't believe that I was dropping $750 or $810 with tax on a red 128GB iPhone 7, and even more for the iPhone 8, in addition to the iPhone 7S or 7S Plus when I decide to pick up one of those. Like, it's going to be an expensive year for Apple products. And the $1,000 price tag on the iPhone 8 is the number one thing that I hope does not come true. Riyadh says, do you think Apple is making mistakes about the decisions of the next iPhone? And I don't really think it's fair to answer this question because we've heard rear Touch ID, we've heard that it's going to be super expensive. Like, there's some negatives for this next iPhone, that it's going to be slightly larger and probably a little bit heavier and thicker. We've heard a lot, but at the end of the day, all of these are rumors, and we don't know anything about the iPhone 8. Apple could totally pull at their September event or whenever they announce this device, talk about the 7S, and then be like, all right, that's it. Tim Cook comes back up on stage. One more thing. Here's an iPhone 8 that looks completely different from any of the leaks that we've seen. Just because at the end of the day, they are leaks, and we don't know if they're going to be right. So, I mean, are they making mistakes? I'll make that final decision whenever I see the official iPhone edition, iPhone X, iPhone 8 or whatever it's going to be called when it is announced by Apple on stage. It's just not fair at this point in the game. Jacob asked, how do you keep your skin pure and white as the driven snow? That's number one, that's funny. Hey, that's funny, I get it. I just don't go outside. And the last question for this Q&A is from Zane. If you had $10,000, which Apple products would you buy? I would buy the iMac Pro. I'd wait till December and buy that because I love this computer sitting behind me, and the Pro version of that would just be my dream computer. Like, I could not think of a computer unless it was like it's space gray too. Like, I really couldn't think of a better computer than what the iMac Pro is, but it's $5,000. So I'd probably spec that out till I got to like $8,000, and then I'd buy like 10 HomePods with the rest of the money when those are released later in 2017, just because I think they're cool and I'm excited to test them out. So iMac Pro and HomePods. So that's gonna wrap up this Q&A. If you guys enjoyed it, as always, it helps me out if you hit that like button down below, and if you've somehow stumbled across this video from like randomly being on YouTube, you can subscribe for more of these, and that'd be really dope. If you want to ask me more questions for the future, you can always tweet me at any time at iupdateos on Twitter, or leave a comment down below in this video if you have any future questions for future Q&As. Anyway, hope you guys are doing great. We hit 50,000 subscribers recently. Like I said, it's kind of crazy. Thank you all. It means so much to me, and I hope you're doing great. I've been Sam, and I'll talk to you guys later.